So recently you had this discussion where you did mention that, it's important for people to understand that there is some amount of self-employment that they should be looking at.
For sure.
So, at a time when there are, I think, 9-10 million graduates every year entering the workforce, and I'm talking about across the board, right? If you look at youth unemployment, for example, today it stands at 14% male youth unemployment.
Yeah.
That's a very high number.
Yeah.
So how do you expect young people to navigate this situation where on one hand, cost of living and inflation is hitting the middle class, and on the other hand, there are much fewer jobs than there were, say, 10 years ago?
Yeah, I guess maybe my only way of saying that, and even in the past interview, I wanted to just sort of clarify. The only way I would say that is, firstly, I identify with that thought process. So it's not like young, I'm looking down and saying somebody's young. I think first we need to accept that that's the problem. Now we'll have to find a solution. If we wait for somebody else to give a solution, it's not happening. So if you accept that as your first thing in life, कि यार solution नहीं आने वाला है, so what am I going to do with this? That will be the first part for you to then start joining the race.
Taking action.
Yeah, joining the race of it. Because today I think we're all going a little bit round in circles. So then I'll do a little bit extra this, then I'll try this, then I'll try that, etc. That's not going to happen because you're not going to get jobs. So I think the ability to then, what I was saying was be self-employed. And I know when I was saying, for example, that you should look at also having a separate job, it was like either follow your passion and make it a profession and balance it off. Now, a lot of people will say, yeah, I'm working a 12-hour day. How can I work an extra job? There is no answer to that thought process. The fact of the matter is, you're working a 12-hour day, which means in some way your job is a threat because you're working at that level and somebody's going to replace that and technology will replace it. So you're going to head towards the binary one. So instead of you saying it's easy for you to say from the outside that, yeah, I'm doing a 12-hour job, then I travel, where am I going to do a second job? Start thinking. The choice nahi hai aapke paas.
Okay, so a youth today has no choice. How should they think? In what direction should they think? Because you have employed thousands of people across your businesses,
but I've also
right?
been first self-employed. So I'm saying when I started off, there wasn't that kind of choice. So I think today, when you look at a situation of less choice, like if that's not what I have in mind, you'll move in that direction. So I'm saying, yes, you're going to have to work for that 12 hours and see whether you are the ability to have a second job, and not a second job, but just follow something else, which is, and I'm not saying that as a stopgap. It is like you'll have to balance that off. Because what will happen, and I think employers are the last people to change their mind. Yes, people in companies will always want to go with process systems and say, no, you can't work. And they'll have to understand that the benefit of an employee feeling less stressed about his job being at stake is a happier person coming to work.
Yeah, fair.
And if he's a happier person coming to work, he or she, he'll give much more to the work than even if he's doing a side gig.
Fair.
That's number one. And two, I would be very happy if that person has got an external exposure on something else because he'll add value here. So yeah, it's a benefit. It's a cyclic process. It's a high concept, but we don't have a choice. So that's, I think, if you keep it as a thought process, it won't be there. If you can really push it hard, it can go somewhere.
So talking about the education business, right? I want to understand in today's day and age of AI, how do you use AI in education to augment learning?
Yeah. So see, look, I think most people look at education in the offline space, university, college, and curriculum space. So in that, you're going to have to have augmented courses that make you relevant. And I think we need to go all the way down to school to 6th standard, 7th standard. We'll have to start there. We'll have to start with concept of self-employment, concept of entrepreneurship, and concept of AI and tech understanding from the 6th, 7th standard onwards.
Okay.
Whether it's in a Zilla Parishad school or whether it's in a private institution. And they can't be a privilege both because this is that opportunity for India that to take this rural-urban balance off. Because if we can just implant these new technologies, it's okay if they haven't really studied or finished stuff. If you give them those practical knowledges today,
it
democratizes as much
it.
The have-nots with the haves, it will change the destiny of India. Fundamentally, it will change because those kids anyway are not going to go through the curriculum, so you might as well give them the practical knowledge. So I think if you imbibe it there, you imbibe it from school, then you imbibe it in college, if you have to do your curriculum that you have to do it, but you'll have to spend 30% more time for this to be rounded, which is back to, I'm doing a 10-hour job. Where do you want me to go? Something else. It's not like, oh shit, the world is at a really tough place, but whatever I have to do, I have to put more hours for. No, you have to be a little bit smart about it. But today, I think that 30% curriculum that we'll add in there will make the destiny for Viksit Bharat more than saying everyone should be in school today.
So I get asked this question a lot by parents who have children who are, say, teenagers, right? They are today genuinely confused what to do with their children, in the sense, what should they learn? Where should they study? Recently, there was a news piece which said that MBA courses fees is dropped by 50% because of low demand.
Yeah.
So if you had to advise these parents, what should the course be that their children...
Well, first advice, I think, would be first, listen to your kids. Have the conversation there. Stop coming there to the dining table thinking you already have an agenda and this is what you need to tell them. Also, stop thinking it's onerous for you to have all the answers, because they will have a point of view. And you'll be surprised at that point of view. And it won't be a one-time conversation. It'll have to be a 6-month conversation over a period of time. That will be my kind of starting point.
And sometimes you learn a lot. In fact, today's day and age, they know much more than you.
Yes, I think there are a lot. The clarity, the simplicity and the clarity is there. The confusion is because the multiple paths are there. Confusion is not, confusion sometimes you feel is whatever you do today is not good enough. Whatever I do, somebody's doing it better. Whatever I do, somebody's moving it faster. That restlessness is going to be there with people, and that sense of dissatisfaction again is going to be an emotion and a sentiment that will remain. It's now there. However good you're feeling, your glory is going to be fleeting, because the next day you feel somebody else is doing it better.
You also feel that?
I feel that every day. I felt that day from it's been one of my sort of mottos in life, that you got to keep edgy. You got to be a little bit in that context, and that's natural. That doesn't mean that you need to be stressed all your life, and it doesn't mean you need to put in more hours of work. But you just need to be pragmatic about it.
Yeah.
So I would say, I think confusion is coming because of multiple choices. Confusing is coming is because you're also very obsessed with how will your parents think and how do I position myself to the world.
Yeah.
So that whole layer has to go away, because life is too complicated right now for people to start also wondering about how do I appear to people, what will I think. Just go with what you need to do. Because anyway, the journey is going to be a lot roller coaster.